Kia ora everyone and welcome to Strategy Collective. My name is Hayden Sherman and with me here is the head of our brand team, Craig Jones. So today we're going to be talking about this interesting question, which is brand personality. So what is it? How do you get it? And why should you even think about having a brand personality? So it's an interesting question. And so let's start off. Craig, why exactly, or what is a brand personality?
Yeah,
we'll start there.
Probably a good starting point is, what is a brand? And as most of you probably know, it's way more than your logo, your website. It really comes down to your whole entire company and how that connects and communicates with your community that you're in. It comes down to how you talk to new customers, right down to how you send them a bill, the way that your staff interact with each other, and even how they walk down the street at lunchtime. So it's all encompassing, and it's really important to get right.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting when we do brand work with our clients, how deep you can go into the organization. Like, it's not just the logo or the colors you use. It goes so deep into writing, mission statements, writing, what's your kind of Braveheart speech look like for your team and that sort of thing. So how do you encourage and motivate your team? And it all comes down to what that personality's like. So
calling a brand personality definitely helps define how to communicate and explain who you are and decide how you're going to communicate to your audience. And one of the ways that we do that in our brand creation process is just simply ask yourself, if your brand was a person, how would they look, how would they talk, and how would they act? Are they a friendly, approachable neighbour, or are they a bold corporate who's direct in their manner and gets stuff done? Are they bold, or are they a quiet achiever? So all of these questions, once you know who you are, definitely help to put some framework on how you communicate with your audience.
Yeah, and I suppose one of the reasons we do this as well as kind of getting into your internal messaging to your staff and all that. It's about how the customer sees you in the market. So you might be wanting to come across really professional and corporate to those audience, or you might be wanting to be more approachable and friendly.
And it's really important to get right, so because it creates an expectation of the kind of service or product that you're selling. So getting it right is crucial to how your customers deal with you and their satisfaction once they buy the product or your service.
Yeah, totally. And it's a good way of differentiating yourself as well, because if everyone's over here in like this corporate serious space and you come in with a fun hit personality into that market, then all of a sudden a segment of the market is going to be more attracted to you and see you as quite different, offering a different proposition of value to that customer. So
so the personality is really important to get right. Can you remember the last time you met someone with no personality or with a whole lot of energy? And you got to ask yourself who would be the person that you would be wanting to make friends with. And it's usually the person with energy, a bit of life to them. And if you can find that right connection with your customer, then it becomes a really good communication tool.
And that's a big part of it. I think what you said, like that connection with your customer, is really important. It's not just what you think would be a cool fit for your brand, what you like. It is really understanding what your customer is like and serving their needs as well.
If you've got a product or a service that is going to benefit a big audience, you need to understand who that audience is and the best way to be friends with them. And that's really what it boils down to. And the art of creating a good brand personality is that juggling act of being authentic to who you are and then being who the people want you to be. So if you can get that right, you're onto a winner.
Cool. So let's talk examples, because we've talked a lot of theory and sort of what it might look like and how to do it, but let's talk some real life examples, and let's use the world of the mobile phone brands in New Zealand. So on the one hand, we've got like the likes of Spark and Vodafone, how would you define them? personality.
Spark's obviously got a grip on the business side of things. They feel quite proper, whereas Vodafone's more aspirational, lifestyle. They're into the a little bit more of the entertainment side of things. So I think their personalities is different in that way.
Yeah, I mean Vodafone, are they still sponsoring the Warriors? I believe so. I couldn't really imagine Spark sponsoring the Warriors, but I could imagine them sponsoring like an innovation conference or something. So that shows you a little bit about when you have that brand personality as your marketing manager, you'd be saying, okay, well that sports team's a really good fit for our brand, that conference not so much, or vice versa. And then so you've got Spark, then you've got Vodafone, and then further along you've got like your 2 Degrees and your Skinny Mobiles. What sort of personalities would you say they have?
They're definitely your friendly neighbour next door who's going to lend you something for cheap, or it feels attainable.
Slightly quirky neighbour potentially.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a different kettle of fish altogether. But you can, once you start looking at them, you can sort of tell their positioning, and a lot of this is to do with asking that question. How would, if your brand was a personality, how would they fit into this situation, or how would they act in this environment?
And we see that with like Skinny. You go on, I just jumped on their website before, and there's lots of deals around like free data weekends, social data, so you can text all your mates and use Instagram as much as you like over the weekend. So there's different sort of offerings, whereas Spark might be more around, hey, get your office connected and
a lot of
package it all
innovation.
together. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a picture of how you can look at brand and how you can think of it as a person, and in the way that it can attract the right sort of customers that you're trying to attract to make your business crank.
Yeah, and don't forget it's another way of communicating to your staff as well, which is just as important as communicating to your customer.
Absolutely. So if you want to talk brand personality with us, feel free to give CJ a call, and we'd love to chat about your brand. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk soon.
Get some personality.